Okay, Flax, welcome to my YouTube channel once again. It's your boy Yomi Daniel, aka Forex Writer. I want to go over what we actually going to be looking at on DXY and some other foreign currency pairs for this new week. Before we do that, let's talk about what we actually talked about last week to predict what the dollar is likely going to do on our last weekly outlook and other currency pairs. We caused several pips on those predictions if you are able to follow any of those forecasts. Last week we talked about DXY jumping into this region and giving us buy setups right around that area. We also talked about EU pulling back into a nice reaction level, talking about going all the way to the 8.6 level around the 1.1400 region. We also talk about what's it called, pound Aussie, talking about the 70.6 reaction around this area. You can see, talking about pound, we're talking about the cable, we're talking about the pound USD coming all the way to this region for a nice sell-off. We talk about that. We also talk about some other pairs. We talk about so many others. I'm trying to check for you so we can just go back. We talk about this pair also pulling up from this level that we have. We talk about them buying from this reaction. We also talk about so many other pairs that you guys can actually go back into this video and watch. We talk about pound Aussie pulling up, buying from that area. We're gonna go about this pair again to predict what this pair is likely gonna do this week. We talk about pound cable, what's it called, pound card. We talk about Aussie USD AU. We talk about Aussie USD selling from the 0.700 area, or if they break right that level, we're looking at for the 0.71300 area. We're gonna look at all those levels to see what all this pair did around that area. We talk about Euro JPY, talking about Euro JPY selling from that area. If you go back into this video, you're definitely gonna see my prediction on those areas. We talk about selling all the way back into this low. We talk about this pair dropping all the way back into this low for that sell-off. Now let's check out this pair to see what they did over the week and what they're likely gonna do this new week. So the first pair we're gonna check is cable. Is the DXY. Now talking about DXY, what do we see on DXY? What is DXY did? We, according to what I showed you earlier, we talked about DXY pulling up from which area? Hold up a minute. We talked about DXY buying all the way from this area. If price break back into this region, we're looking at for the 9600 area all the way to the 9550 area for a nice buy low. And automatically we can see we got reaction around that box for a nice pull to the upside. So what is my prediction this week on DXY? I don't want to waste much of the time on this analysis. What is my prediction on DXY for this week? According to what I gave you guys last week, based on what DXY is likely going to do on the high time frame, you guys can go back to the high time frame to check what we actually predicted. We talk about DXY still having a lot of chance to pull its ass down all the way back into this some range around this area, if possible, back into range right here, if possible. We're like gonna see DXY a little bit declining for a very long time back into this range. That is our prediction. We've been selling dollar right from this point, so that's our prediction. But last week we talked about pulling back right from this area, so we saw that pullback right there occurred last week and give us some kind of nice reaction for DXY. So what am I anticipating on DXY for this week, for this new week? I'm looking at for DXY pulling a little bit back down. Get something of such, in case I get something of such, a little bit retracement back into this range, or probably they take out this low a little bit back into the 9500 to the 9550. I'm talking about the 9500 right here all the way to the 9550. So I'm just gonna make this box to where I'm looking at. So I'm looking at the 9500 to 9550. So I'm looking at this area. Should in case I get DXY pull back a little bit back into that range, then I'm looking at for buy all the way back into this level. So I'm looking at for DXY pulling back a little bit back into this range, and automatically they might not do that. They might not pull back. They might just give you some kind of reaction right here, do something of such, do a little bit back into this range, then give us a nice buy into this previous support area that now turns to resistance. So we're targeting this previous support area to see what reaction price might actually give us around there. So as of now, I'm still looking out for bullishness on DXY a little bit for a retracement back into this range. So I want to see some kind of pullback a little bit to get some kind of retracement back into that range. If you check the 4-hour time frame, you're definitely going to see what we're looking at. Actually, it's going to be the same thing. We're looking at for DXY pulling back a little bit. So DXY can actually respect any of all these blocks that they just created and pull back a little bit back into any of these blocks right here and give us some kind of nice push up back into the upside if they come back into any of this range right there. So we can be looking out for some kind of cost model also right there. Low, high, then we got some kind of low right here, high price can come back into this range to give us some kind of buy setup. You don't want to forget that when we're looking out for a potential thing like, okay, I'm looking out for buy on this side and pair, or I look out for patterns right there at that low to catch my long opportunity. So right here we're looking out for some kind of pullback to get some kind of we're looking out for pullback on this current long back into some kind of range right here to catch the long entry back into this range. You don't want to forget that I don't personally trade DXY, but I look at what DXY is likely going to do to trade all those other currency foreign pairs like the cable, the fiber, the Aussie, the Kiwi, and other foreign currency pairs. So in DXY we're looking at for pullback, then a push back into the upside. That's for DXY. The next pair I'm talking about is going to be the Euro, which is the fiber. Talking about what the fiber did, you can see according to the video I showed you earlier, you can go back and check. We're talking about the 1.1400 area, and we talked about the 1.1600 area also. I think that one's around this level. We talked about it right here. You guys can go back to the Discord. For those of you that are not in the Discord, I'm gonna put a link in this video. You can go back to the Discord and check what we talked about on USD. I actually posted the analysis, not just the video. We talked about this. We talked about this sell coming up from this level. I explained this on the webinar. I'm looking at a sell opportunity. I just number I tag on the chart, targeting the support level. You might decide to drop before reaching that level. Confluence was the back pattern formation. You can see right there. We're looking at for this area for a nice sell off based on the back pattern formation that I showed earlier on the webinar. I'm going to show you the back pattern again, which is right here for those of you that trade harmonic. X, A, B, C. They were looking at for the D around that point. So getting that level around the 1.400, which was where I caught my entry. I don't want to know at the max how many pips drawdown was that, should in case you take any trade of that. I know a lot of people caught that move, but I'm just trying to see if you were on the trade on the 1.1400 area, talking about this area. So you should use at the max, let me just say 20 pips. Your entry price is going to be 1.1400 area. Your stop loss is going to be something like 1.1450. Let me just say you want to take a swing and you are in this trade. Let me see, is your stop loss been smashed? No, you never smashed stop loss, and you were up how many pips? That was about 187 pips in profit. So that was nice catch. I didn't mean you follow that analysis. So what am I looking out for on this? Is the move done? No, automatically we're not done on the move. This is my target. I'm still looking out for price coming all the way back into this range. So as far we are not done on the move, we might get a little bit retracement back, a little bit up from this move for price to continue its way down. So if you get something like this, a pullback somewhere around this area, you might watch out for what price is going to do for a nice sell-off. Or price can just come back into this high, give us a nice pullback right here, a deep pullback, and continues move back into this low. So on this one, I'm still looking at for pullback a little bit up for price to continue its way down. So on Euro USD, I'm looking at for what? Push up for a nice sell again. So now this is what we got. If you look at what we're looking at for chart pattern, we might anticipate price giving us a retest of this broken structure. Well, it occurred on the line chart already. For anybody that trade line chart, we already got a break and retest around this area. But should in case you are not in that yet, we might still get another one somewhere right there, whereby price can still come back into this range for a nice push up. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to place a fib from year to year. Watch out for fib level that price can come back into. This was the last impulse that we got on the daily on last week. So we might be anticipating price testing back this reaction again. So I'm looking out for this support area, should in case I get price to come back into that range. So if price come back into this range, there's a high chance of we doing what? Getting some kind of reaction. So I wouldn't say you guys should look out for sell around there, but make sure you look out for reaction that EU actually gave, because we're still targeting the low. Our target is right here. So until you get there, I'm still going to be looking out for sell opportunity on this pair. So as of now, I'm looking out for sell opportunity, looking out for price to come back into that range. Right here, the reason why EU is trying to pull up right here was based on what? Based on this other block that we have, institutional footprint that we have around this area. You can see we got some kind of institutional footprint around this area. That's one. Secondly, there was a nice harmonic back pattern that we can actually look out for, an extended back pattern around this area. 1.113 of that move to the upside. So it can actually push price a little bit higher back into retracement of this move before price eventually makes their way back to downside. Overall, all I'm looking at for is a deep retracement, at least back into this range for the 5 bar. So I'm looking at for price retrace a little bit and make his way back in. Until price gets to this area, I'm not yet going to close. I'm not yet going to stop looking out for sell unless price break above or this high. Then I'm still going to look out for more sell. I want a deep retracement on the 5 bar. So I'm not talking about the cable. According to what I showed you guys on the cable also, you can actually check the Discord right there. We posted about cable on the Discord. Here was it. I think here was it. We talked about the cable, talking about right here what we got on the cable. You guys can actually look at it right here. This was it. We talked about flip cluster on the 70.6 blah blah around this area. We boxed that out. You can check the this thing to check it out. Go ahead on the Discord or the YouTube, or what's it called, the video I made last week, to check out this level that we highlighted right there. I gave a high right there, looking out for that level for a nice sell-off. Automatically you can see what price did. Price get back into that range and give us some kind of nice 300 and something pips. Yes, I was not in the trade, I only caught part of it. So if you check out the pips that we have right here, this was nothing less than what? 300 pips. This was 340 pips. So automatically this is actually close to what? Where my target is. You can see where I said my target level is. So we're still looking now for price coming all the way back into that target. So which simply means we can actually see a little bit more sell on this. So this is my target level. This is where I targeted that price is going to come to. So if I say that price is going to come to this target, which is right here, I'm just going to place it up. Red. I'm just gonna place. I'm gonna try to move this. I'm just gonna place a line right here. If this is my target, so I still want price to come a little bit back into that range, but I would tell you that what you should be careful on the cable right now, because price can actually just continue to push their way back up. I like the EU versus more than the cable, but nevertheless I'm still looking out for sell opportunity. The price retrace until price gets to the 618 and give me a reaction. I wouldn't want to take buy on the 618 either. I don't want to see them giving me some kind of reaction right there before I can predict what I want to see. Automatically, if reaction is being given, there's high chance of them pulling up from that level if reaction is being given around there. But as of now, I just want to see what they're gonna do around this level. So what I'm predicting right now is what? A pullback into a region. You can, if you trade support and resistance, automatically you will be eating off this pair, because they just try to play off support and resistance around this level, breaking a nice support, break right there, turns to resistance and drop. So what I'm looking at right now is what? A nice pullback back into a range right here, talking about a level right here, probably a pullback into that. Let me just check on the 1 hour. Probably a pullback into this range from here to here. Looks significant. That's a nice trend line that we got. So price can pull back a little bit back into this range, then give us a nice sort of well, and they might not. They might just come back into this order that was being opened by the institute to push price higher. Around there was another right there. Price can go back into that, respecting these last impulse that we have. If you place a fib on this to this, look at this to have a nice 618 around this point for a nice seller. So maybe if price gets to that range, it could call for a nice sell to complete my target. So you guys can actually watch out for that. During the week, we're going to analyze what we're going to be looking at on this more fully. I'm just trying to give you some outlook on what we are going to be looking at for the week. So this is another pair we talked about. This pair pushing up a little bit higher from that range. Automatically we get some kind of 200 pips or short right there. Is about 200 pips. The price actually pushed back down into that range again. So now we can see the week close right above this area. So ultimately what I'm looking at for is what I'm still looking at a long opportunity around there. So you guys can actually watch for a long opportunity around there for a nice pullback, at least a nice pullback back into range. If I'm looking out for pullback, where this, I talked about this for a very long time, that we're looking at for a very big sell on this. So the sell that I'm looking out for doesn't change, but I want to see reaction right here. If price give us some kind of reaction right here this week, we will take the buy opportunity, because this was what I actually told you guys last week. I told you guys to wait for a nice impulse, get a nice structure retracement, then you catch the long. So if you look at what is happening right here on the smaller time frame, let's check the 4-hour time frame real quick, or probably the 2. You're definitely gonna see that that structure is what we're seeing right there. So there we go. We get a nice impulse, price come back to retrace as a retracement. We might look out for that as a what? As a nice push up. The last bearish candle prior to this rally to the upside, price retracing it. So if you get some kind of reaction right at this point, probably price give you some kind of more reaction, or eventually take this low. I don't want them to take the low. Just forget about taking the low. So if they do give you some kind of reaction right there, there's high chance of we coming all the way to the upside. Look at Cosmodo levels around there. So there's high chance of price giving us a nice push up right there. You guys can watch out for that. Yes, there's a nice chance of price pushing up around that area. So that's for GN. I don't want to waste much time on that, because GN has not really played prior to the analysis we had last week. The other pair we talked about is Euro JPY, sorry. So we talked about Euro JPY pulling down from where that level is. You guys can actually remember that this was the level I talked about. Then I had something of such. Go back and watch that video, you will understand. I talked about TP1 here, TP2 right here on this trend line. Then I automatically told you that this trend line could be a fake out, whereby price is going to break back into it. Exactly what we can see happening around this moment. Price break back into that area. If you check the Discord, you guys can actually see what we talked about on the Discord. I'm going to leave the link to Discord down in case you're not in it yet, but we talk about this level on the Discord. Look at it, we talk about that level as a retracement, right from this top was where we talk about this pair dropping all the way to the downside. Automatically we get some kind of about 200 to 300 pips on that, if I'm right, because I only caught part of it. I closed out my 2 TPs. I closed right here, so that was 300 pips. So price decided to decline more to the downside. So now this was a retest. I gave this retest out also. If you check the Discord, I gave that retest out for a nice sell-off again, about 50 to 70 pips. Yes, right there. So now what am I looking out for? I'm still looking out for deep retracement, same on EU. So I still want to see this target being touched. So price T, I was actually saying that we can get a retest of this trend line, but if you watch my recording, I clearly told you guys that there might not be a retest. Price might not give you any retest. Reason behind why I showed you this on the Discord. Where's the Discord? Reason behind why I showed you another this thing on Discord, talking about a retest of this structure for what? For a nice sell-off. So if you check what this pair did, the retest was right here, and price eventually moved his way down to the downside. You go ahead and check on the smart time frame. This was the retest that we're talking about right here. This was the retest we talked about on that, and price gave us a nice sell around there. So right now what I'm actually looking at for, this pair is respecting base of this other block that we have right here, but I'm looking at for this TP to the downside. So if you get a nice pushed up a little bit more, you can anticipate some kind of sell to the downside. But during the week, probably on Tuesday, I might have another section just to discuss whatsoever this pair has done from Sunday to Tuesday, just to see what we should follow up on this. So on this one, I'm still looking at for a retest back into this range before we get some more sell on this. I'm just looking at for sell. USD card, we talked about the buy from that level. This analysis was not on Sunday. This was way before last week. When we buy, we talked about, this was just a very quick one whereby we talked about a buy from this region, a very nice buy from this region based on accumulation, liquidity void, and a retest of this area. I gave out this level around the 1.3400 area to be a very good area whereby price can actually come back to and give us a long opportunity. Automatically you can see what they did. They come back into that area and give us a nice pull up. So we're still looking out for this TP to be touched, where right here is our TP. We're looking out for price to come back into that area. So now when we set out this long opportunity, we set out this candle, we might be looking out for a retest of this structure. So talking about retest, we're looking out for something like this, price to come back a little bit back into this range and give us a nice opportunity right there. So I'm going to be placing a fib from here to here, and watch out for a nice 618 right here for a pullback of this. So we're going to be looking at this 600 for a pullback, checking the smart time frame. So in case I get that, that is where I'm going to be looking at for my long opportunity on this pair. So I will be looking at for long opportunity around this area. If price come back into that region for a nice buy up, automatically a lot of people are going to be looking at this one based on the previous resistance, talking about this one. So I will be looking at this as a fake out. So in case price gets back into that range, if price come back into this one, I'm looking at this as a fake out and come back into this 600 region to take to activate the long opportunity or potentially the 70.6. So right here I'm just looking out for what a nice push back into this region for a nice buy off, because what we have right here was a nice impulse retracement. The price is going to come a little bit way more down to the downside. If you are a trendline trader, probably gonna be, if you can catch the sell off, but I'm not interested in that. Probably after the break of this trend line, a sell can occur right there, giving us a break and retest of that for a nice sell to the downside. That could actually happen, but price can do something like a break and retest of this and give us what, and do something like this and give us a nice sell into this range before we actually catch a buy to the upside. So that is for USD CAD. Also, you guys can actually watch out on what this pair does. So the other pair I want to talk about is Aussie USD. We talk about Aussie USD. I think I don't have it right here. Let me just pull it up real quick. AUD USD. We talk about Aussie USD pulling down massively right from that region. You guys can see I was able to cut 200 pips from that area. It was just so perfect. Yes, I was able to cut more than 200 pips if I'm right, because I caught all the old move to the downside. I think I'm still holding the sell. So if we check it out from the 0.700 area, let's just say the 0.700 area, that was nothing less than 210 pips from that point. That was the area we actually anticipate. And I remember I told you guys that if price break this top, there's a high chance of them coming back into this area before the sell. So what is my prediction right now? We're looking out for a retest of this again for a nice sell-off. Target is right here, the 600 area. So 6.6 or 6,000 area. Automatically what I'm looking out for is one more sell to the downside. Look out for a pullback, then it's sell continuation on this. There's no more time to waste on this. We're looking out for what, two more sell on this one. So we're targeting this level now. We might be targeting something like a retest back into the structure right here, hopefully. And I'm looking at the nearest support and resistance area that we got right here. So in case price pushed up a little bit way more, mind you, price can do something funny, try to create some kind of pattern, because that is what Aussie is fond of. They can try to make their way back into this high. Automatically, if that happens, there's still more sell right there. Probably they can do something like a Cosmodo or something right there for a nice pattern, KLM or something, right here. So if price comes back into that range, I'm still gonna sell again. So let's see what the week actually goes for us. By Tuesday, I'm going to give us more structure analysis based on chart and predict what the market is going to do for the week. I hope you guys find value in this. If you guys actually find value in this, make sure you put a like button, and if you have not subscribed into this channel yet, make sure you do that right now. I hope you guys have a wonderful and a nice trading week ahead of you. Stay safe and love.
You've reached the stars, now let's see you conquer galaxies. You've gone for gold.